The morning started like no other. The pups woke me up way too early, full of excitement and bursting with energy, as if they had already sniffed out what I was planning before I even said a word. Their tails wagged like little wind turbines, eyes bright with expectation. Honestly, who needs an alarm clock when you've got to furballs practically dragging you out of bed for an adventure? It was clear they were ready for vacation, and if they were insisting on leaving now, then why not? Bags packed, water bottles filled, dogs buckled in. And off we went, straight into our next great journey together. The road to Greece was long, and I mean really long. The sun was merciless, and the temperature inside the car kept reminding us just how serious summer can be. But through all of it, the dogs were absolute troopers. They snoozed almost the entire way, twisting themselves into every possible sleeping position. At one point, I looked back and saw Leo hanging halfway off the seat, tongue out, looking completely unbothered by gravity or grace. Despite the heat and the hours on the road, they were calm, patient, and unbelievably well-behaved. It made me proud and honestly a little emotional. Traveling with dogs can be chaotic, but they made it so easy. The moment we reached the coastline, something in the air changed. The breeze smelled like salt, the roads narrowed, and the blue of the sea sparkled just around the corner. The dogs knew we were close. Their ears perked up, bodies alert, tails wagging like crazy. By the time we got to our rental, they were practically vibrating with excitement. We didn't even unpack. I strapped on their safety vests, grabbed the essentials, and we made a beeline for the beach. And oh, that first moment on the sand, it was magical. They dashed into the waves like they had been waiting for this their whole lives. The water splashed, the sun danced off the sea, and I just stood there watching them, smiling like an idiot. Leo dove headfirst into the waves, barking joyfully, while Tiger rolled in the sand, already a walking beach towel. They were soaked, sandy, and absolutely radiant with happiness. I called them over to check if they were thirsty, but they barely acknowledged me. Their eyes were locked on the ocean like it was calling them by name. Getting them out of the water? That was another story entirely. The only thing that worked was pulling out some treats and turning playtime into a mini training session. Down, I'd say, and they'd respond eventually. Sometimes with a wag, sometimes with a splash, but always with heart. Lucky for me, there were tons of kids on the beach who were more than eager to help. Little aspiring dog trainers gathered around, tossing treats, giving commands, and giggling as the pups showed off their tricks. It was beautiful, dogs and kids learning from each other, bonding over barks and belly rubs. Our pups became beach celebrities. They weren't just pets, they were everyone's furry friend. The sun eventually began to dip, and just as we were heading back, we had another surprise waiting, a ferry ride to our next destination. I had no idea how the dogs would react to being on a boat, but as soon as we boarded, Leo's tail told me everything I needed to know. He was in awe. Ears flopping in the breeze, he ran to the railing to look at the waves below, eyes wide with wonder. And then it happened. A few people on the lower deck noticed him and started tossing up treats. He missed every single one, of course, but he looked so happy just trying to catch them. I think that moment might have been his version of Disneyland. The ferry ride was peaceful, and when we finally reached the island, it was time for the real fun to begin. Leo dashed into the sea as soon as we hit the shore. No hesitation, no second guessing. This wasn't just a vacation for him, it was his dream coming true. The open water, the freedom, the sheer joy of splashing and swimming and chasing nothing in particular, it was everything he loved all in one place. I stood in the shallows watching him, and I swear he smiled. He was so alive, so present, so purely happy. And then I discovered something hilarious, Leo's new obsession, stones. Not balls, not toys. Not sticks, stones. Flat ones, round ones, big ones, small ones, he couldn't get enough. I'd throw one into the water, and he'd leap after it like it was a diamond. It was so absurd and so perfectly him. I even tested him, if you love me, stay in the boat. If you love stones, go after this one, and he chose the stone. Betrayed by a rock. Classic Leo. Throughout our stay, we settled into a kind of rhythm. Mornings began with stretches and sleepy tail wags. Leo would greet the day with a big yawn and a gentle head bump to remind me it was time to go out. We'd take long walks along the beach, and he'd stop to sniff every tree, every bush, every leaf, as if he needed to memorize the entire island. Then, inevitably, he'd find water. Didn't he matter if it was 7 a.m. and freezing? Leo would jump in like it was midday in July. He was unstoppable. Then it was breakfast for him, coffee for me, and off we'd go to explore a new beach or a quiet bay. The afternoons were filled with more swimming, chasing after branches, and leaping over waves like some kind of beach Olympian. Leo was fearless in the water, a real natural swimmer. He even rescued a rock I pretended to throw, as if it were his sacred duty. We met so many wonderful people during our trip, especially fans of our channel. Leo was shy at first, but quickly warmed up to the attention. People would stop us, ask for photos, and shower him with affection. He handled it like a pro, sitting tall, wagging politely, as if he knew he was being admired. It was touching to see how much joy he brought to strangers. How dogs can connect us without saying a single word. Evenings were quieter. After a full day of beach antics, Leo would be completely exhausted, stretched out in the sand, eyes half closed, belly full. We'd anchor our little boat near a secluded spot, swing gently with the tide, and watch the stars appear. Sometimes I'd talk to him silly things like, "Are you done swimming today?" And he'd give me that sleepy look that meant yes, but also maybe. Because with Leo, the day's not truly done until the sun is gone and the water is still. One of my favorite moments came when I tried to join him on his paddleboard. He looked at me like, "This is my ship, human." But he let me on, of course. We floated together, just the two of us and the sound of the waves. Always watching, always protecting, always loving. This vacation wasn't just a break from routine. It was a celebration of everything that makes life sweet. The laughter, the exploration, the spontaneous moments of joy. Now, as I sit here looking back on those days, I realize how much this trip meant, not just to them, but to me. These dogs have given me more than I could ever give them, and this vacation was my thank you. Thank you for coming along on this journey with us. If you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed living it, don't forget to give this video a like. Subscribe for more adventures and leave a comment below telling us your favorite part. Who knows, maybe next time we'll bring you along in person. Until then, stay sandy, stay smiling, and hug your pups a little tighter tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking my videos. It really helps me out, and it helps the algorithm in promoting my content. So thank you again for all of your support. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free and it helps me out a ton. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much. You are the real MVP. You have no idea how much your support means to me. So again, thank you so much for subscribing and liking my videos. It really does help me out, and it helps the algorithm in promoting my content. So with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.